welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're embarking on a pretty focused exploration, looking into a particular viewpoint on prayer. We've got an excerpt here from Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris. It's for April 27th.
Right.
And our aim, really, is to dig into what it says is the primary way Christians should connect with God through prayer.
Exactly. So the core question the source is asking essentially is, what does it see as the most fundamental way to pray if you're a Christian?
Oh.
We're going to, unpack the specific text and try to understand the thinking behind its main points.
Okay, let's get right into it then. The text, it makes a really strong statement right off the bat. It says praying in the Spirit is the primary way.
Yeah, that's the core assertion.
Now, when you hear praying in the Spirit, different ideas might come to mind, right?
Sure.
But this excerpt is actually very specific about what it means by that phrase.
That's a really crucial clarification. Yeah. In this specific context, praying in the Spirit is defined explicitly as praying in other tongues.
Oh.
So whenever this text mentions praying in the Spirit, it's talking about speaking in a language the person praying doesn't consciously understand.
Got it. And it backs this up, doesn't it? It points straight to a Bible verse, Ephesians 6:18, which talks about praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit. Seems like that verse is the bedrock for this idea.
It definitely is foundational, yeah. The text uses that verse to really establish why praying in the Spirit is so important.
Okay.
And then it moves on to talk about how that relates to, praying with your understanding.
Right. And this is where, for me, it gets quite interesting. It draws this line between your spirit praying and your understanding being unfruitful, as it puts it.
Yes.
When you're praying in tongues, it even quotes 1 Corinthians 14:14. For if I pray in an unknown tongue, my spirit prayeth, but my understanding is unfruitful. What does that distinction really tell us about how this source views the whole act of prayer?
Well, what's fascinating is the order it suggests, the hierarchy, maybe. The excerpt presents an ideal way. First, you pray through the Spirit.
Which means tongues in this view.
Right, which they define as tongues. And then you pray with your conscious understanding. There's a clear sense that the first way holds a sort of primary spiritual weight here.
And it's pretty direct about getting that order wrong, so to speak.
It is.
The text says that mainly praying with your understanding, and only sometimes in tongues, is not going to work. That's quite a forceful statement, isn't it?
It really is. This perspective strongly suggests that praying in the Spirit enables maybe a deeper, more direct line to God, one that isn't, held back by our own thinking at that moment.
So like bypassing the intellect, in a way.
You could kind of see it like that, yes. From this viewpoint, it's communication on a different level, a more spiritual frequency, perhaps.
Okay. And to help kind of explain this idea, how praying in the Spirit fits alongside other kinds of prayer, it uses this analogy, it's quite vivid, about a doctor's prescription.
Oh, yes, the analogy.
Can you walk us through that one?
Sure. So it compares the different types of prayer you might do, like, say, prayers of intercession or faith or worship.
Right, the different categories.
Exactly.
Oh,
It
yeah.
compares those to your daily meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Okay.
Now, the tablets in the analogy, the ones you're supposed to take with every meal, those represent praying in the Spirit, speaking in tongues.
I see.
So it's shown as this consistent thing, something you add into all your other prayer activities.
So if I'm getting this right, it's not saying praying in tongues replaces the other kinds of prayer.
No, not at all.
But it should be like a constant addition, a foundational thing that goes with everything else.
Precisely. That helped understand what they mean by primary way. It's about being fundamental, consistently there.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And the text goes on to explain what it believes is actually, happening when someone prays in tongues. It quotes another